Okay, so I was asked by several people to redo this and to do it in a manner that they would have time to go back. So I am going to do a video on this. This is one we did the other day, and I am going to point out that this, oh, I'm sitting here lassoing it, sorry, that this value right here, I only bring up right here. A comes from the formula you had way back when in algebra, where we have y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. It is this a value here. It could also be the a value out of y equals a x squared plus b x plus c. Those are the same a's. It's the original front a. All right, so with that said, I'm going to jump into these and show you how to find these equations. Okay, notice we have y minus k and x minus h grouped together. And down here, the x minus h came first. The y minus k is being squared. So the one where y is not squared means it opens either up or down. And where x is not squared, it opens either left or right. Now, the way that I remember this is that if x is not squared, a linear x, the x-axis goes in this direction, so it opens left or right. So that means it will open this way, or it will open the other way. And of course, negative goes to the left, positive goes to the right. And if it opens up or down, it starts with y. Remember, y-axis goes this way. So it means it opens up, or it opens down if it's negative. Up for positive, down for negative, okay? The other thing to remember is that your focus is always located within the parabola itself. So every one of these, that's where the focus would be, somewhere on the interior. All right, so I'm going to focus right now on where these things open. This says find the vertex, then find the value of P, and then figure out how does it open. Okay, so on every one of these, I'm going to go through and find the vertex because it's super easy. I can find the vertex right away on all of these because the form is close enough. All my X's and H's, Y's and K's are grouped together. So you see that X is over here. So your X value is 1, your Y value is -3. X is over here, your Y value is 4. Notice it's changing sign. Your Y value is -2. Over down here, oh, wait a minute, the X is over here. The X value is 1, the Y value is -5. We have all of our vertices. Now I'm going to go find the value of P. In this one, P, in all of these, actually, not just this one, I want to go in and show you where P is located. So P is located right in front of the squared term. Here's the squared term, 1 over 4P again. They're located in the same place. So whatever is in front of this term is what we're going to set 4P, 1 over 4P equal to. So 1 over 4P is equal to 4. All right, so solving for P, there's two ways to do it. One way is to put this over 1 and cross multiply. The other way was to leave this off and just multiply both sides by 4P times 4P. This cancels, which is kind of cross multiplying. 1 equals 16P. Divide by what is attached to P? Well, 16 is attached to P, so I'm going to divide by 16. P equals 1/16, and I'm done. Now, once I have this P is positive, so positive means it has to open up this way, or it has to open up to the right like this. Those are the positive directions. Well, go back and look. This starts with a Y. This starts with a Y. It had to open up or down, so it's not this. It's opening up. You can tell me the word up, or you can draw me a little parabola. Okay, over here. Look at this one. This one, it has this weird thing right here. And it almost looks like y minus k because here's my y minus k business, but this thing's in the front, this 3. There is no 3 right here in the front. You see that? None whatsoever. So we have to divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Now, if you just put a big whoosh and it goes over 3, that's not okay because that's not how this is written. The p, the 1 over 4p, is up in front. So we're going to put 1 over negative 3. So now our new equation is y plus 2 equals negative 1/3 x minus 4 squared. Now, did that change our vertex? No, it didn't change our vertex. The 4 still came from the x. The negative 2 still came from the y. But now you can see the 1 over 4p. Now, guys, if I look at 1 over 4p equals negative 1/3, this doesn't look like it's going to be nice to multiply both sides by 4p or anything like that. So I am going to go ahead and cross multiply here. When I cross multiply, 4p times negative 1 is negative 4p. 3 times 1 is 3. So then divide by negative 4 and negative 4. This cancels. Now I've got p equals negative 3/4. Okay, the fact that this is negative means negative opens down and negative opens to the left, like that. All right, so I'm going to go back and I've got to decide. This is a y first, y plus 2, y's to the first power. This x is to the first power. This y is to the first power. So it's going to open up or down. It's not this one. It's going to open down. Okay, last one. This x minus 1 should be alone. The only thing that gets to have something in front of it is the squared term. So I'm going to divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2, stick in a 1 right there. This did not change any values. It just makes 1 over 4p equal to negative 1/2. All right? So again, you can cross multiply. This one actually can clean up pretty darn quick. Since if you notice, that is if you notice, that the top up here is a 1 on both sides, you could technically set these two bottoms equal to each other and not have to cross multiply. If you cross multiply, you get the same thing though. I'm just saying, you get exactly the same thing. So you get 4p equals negative 2. Besides, you multiply them both by 1, you're going to get the same thing. So divide by 4 because it's attached to p. Be careful, don't subtract. This becomes negative 1/2. It's a negative. That means it's going to open down or it's going to open back like this. One of the two. That's the two negatives. This starts with an x that matches right here. So that means it opens left or right. So it's not going to open down. It's going to open left. All right. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and do a graph for you. Let's go through a graph from beginning to end. First thing we need to do is rewrite it in standard form. That's going to pull this over here. So we're going to get x plus 6 equals y minus 4 squared. All right. So on this one, that means that we know the vertex. Let's go with the x, negative 6, and the y is positive 4. I'm double checking. You know what? I rewrote a plus sign there. Woo, 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 woo. Warning, warning. All right, that should have been a plus. I just copied it wrong. So that makes this a minus. I just happened to double check it. All right, so now I've got the point. So negative 6, negative 4. There's my vertex. I'm going to label it. Okay, calculate P. Because once I calculate P, I can find the focus and I can find the directrix. So P is going to be, notice I don't see anything normally where the P is. So it's an understood 1. There is a 1 right there. So 1 over 4P equals 1. What does P have to be to make this 1? If you guessed it to be 1/4 because you say 4 times a fourth will give me 1, then that's correct. Otherwise, you multiply both sides by 4P. So you get 4P equals 1, divide by 4, and you have 1/4. Now what this means, if I go back and I look at this, X is my term, so that means it has to open left or right, one of the two. This came out to be positive, so if this is positive, it's not this one. This one's my positive one. So it's going to open up to the right. So how far to the right? Well, first of all, what I need is I need to put my focus in there. And my focus means that I am going to add 1/4 to this value over to the right. So technically, there's my focus right there. It's so close. And on the opposite side of this, I would need this line that's really close, and this is the directrix. Well, how far over is the line? Is it like 6.5, 6 1/3, -6.5, -6 1/3? Well, it's going to take this and move it back. You're going to say -1/4. So you go +1/4 for the focus, and this is going to be -1/4 for the directrix. So if I'm at -6, -6 plus 1/4, or 0.25, is -5 3/4 or -5.75. I'll take either one. So that means my focus is -5.75 if you prefer the decimal, and it's located at -4. That's important. That's going to stay the same as the vertex. Okay, so this y value stayed the same as this y value. All right, the directrix is going to be crossing the x-axis right here, and it's going to be at -6 minus 1/4, or 0.25, which is -6.25. So this is x equals -6.25. I am not going to worry about the points of the focal width. I am going to talk about the focal width because it is going to be 4 times whatever this is, 1/4. That's the P. It is only 1 unit wide. Well, if it's 1 unit wide at this point at the focus, it's going to go up a half unit, down a half unit, giving me the total width. Look at this. It goes like this. Oh my gosh, that top one is absolutely perfect. The bottom, not so much, but the top one's really good. Okay, anyway, that's what it looks like. It's 1 unit from here to here. That's 1 unit. Okay, we're done. Let's look at another problem. Hold on, one more, and then I'm going to call it quits for the night because I'm tired. All right, rewrite it in standard form. First thing I got to do is divide by 8. Guys, I had a lot of kids wanting to subtract 8 away or to multiply 8 through. Don't do that because you want it y minus k equals 1 over 4p times x minus h squared. I used the one that I needed to because y came first and was alone. So I want to divide by this. Notice there's nothing right here. It's supposed to be a 1. So I have to get that to a 1. So rewriting y plus 1 equals 1/8 times x minus 4 squared. Guys, somebody today wanted us to include parentheses over here. It doesn't matter if there are parentheses there or not, because parentheses are grouping things together, and this whole side's already grouped together as a whole side. It is not necessary to have parentheses there. This piece, we're going to set it equal to 1 over 4p equals 1 over 8. All right, so if you can just look at this bottom piece and say, gosh, if that P were 2, 4 times 2 is 8, so P equals 2, okay? If you don't get that, then you are welcome, ever so welcome, to cross multiply. So you say 8 times 1 is 8, 4P times 1 is 4P, divide by 4, and you get 2. So you still get the same thing, it's just a little bit shorter. All right, so finishing this out, let's go ahead. Oh my goodness, I didn't find the vertex. Let's find the vertex. So what's grouped with your x? Oh, wait, there's x. It's going to be a 4. What's grouped with a y? That's going to be a -1 because it has to change signs. So let's go down here, positive 4, -1. Let me get it in the right place. There it is. There's my vertex. And now the P is 2. So if I go up 2, I get this. If I go down 2, I get this. Well, this creates the line where y is equal to what? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone there? Okay, this is -3. So this is at y equals -3. So that's my directrix, y equals -3. Oh, it's so nice when they're whole numbers. And this is the focus. I didn't write it in there. F for the focus. And it's located at 4, 1. All right. So, and then the focal width is going to be, okay, each side is 2p. The focal width is 4p. So this is plus or minus 2p. So 2 times 2 is 4. But if I took the 2 and plugged it in here, that's 4 times 2 is 8. So each side of the focus is worth 4. The total is worth 8. So each side of the focus, I'm going to go up here, change a color. So go over 4 and over 4. So guys, if there's 4 on this side, 4 on that side, that's the total of 8 for the focal width. All right, so that means this guy opens up kind of big, but this makes sense because it's a fraction, and the fraction makes it flatter. It flattens this bowl out. It doesn't have this being this tall, skinny parabola like that, like you would get with a whole number. It becomes a fat fraction. That's what I call them, and that's probably a really bad thing to do, but I do. Okay, just a way to help you remember it. I'm going to stop so you can have these examples and be able to use them to study by to help you graph. Graphing is not the hardest thing, but I hope this helps you. Have a good one.